Hello, I'm Olimon. Welcome to EFA102 on this Friday, July 3rd. I want to have fun today. It's Friday, it's going to be a gorgeous day, and I want to talk about health. Actually, I want to ask you, the governments around the world, the global government, when are you going to start talking about health? You're very good at your fun fact videos on how to wear a mask and how to wash your hands, and that's it. It talks about the education, the prevention. It talks about your mandatory. I remember, go back in my videos in March and April, and people that thought that I was fear mongering and blah blah blah. And I told you guys that the mandatory masks were coming. I told you guys that after the mandatory masks, once they got them in place, then the fines come, revenue generation, right? It's happening right now in the newspaper in Toronto. What is it going to be? $195, $175. They're putting in the mandatory masks on all the public transportation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually they're going to have the $175, $190, $5 fines if you're caught without the mask. I don't predict the future. I just know how they think. So therefore, I want to have fun right now. When are we going to talk about health, just health altogether? Dr. EricBerg, the doctor that I follow on in my lifestyle that I live, and a lot of his videos are very educational, very knowledgeable, very informative. And I follow him for autophagy and fasting and gremlins and all those kind of things. They're very, very educational. And in one of his videos he did yesterday, he talked about how the 80%, 80, are not affected or have minimal or no signs. And why is that, right? He explains all that 80% and how the 20% are affected. The other day, a gentleman I was dealing business with talked about his 96-year-old mother was full-blown. They put her in a home. They quarantined her for 14 days. She had nada signs, but she was full-blown COVID-19, right? But 96, strong as an ox, I guess, healthy. Oh, is that the word? Healthy. So I want to get into this, and I'm going to talk about 1993, Charlie Hurricane Harrison, and I want to talk about the movie Wall-E. Remember that movie, WALL-E? Wall-E. Remember that movie? Well, my daughters do. And I was telling them about the other day, in the movie, you see very rotund people, very out of shape, rotund people, that everything comes to them. Like everything is a treadmill of life, and everything is brought to your mouth. And it's mocking people. It's mocking humanity, how fat we become, how out of shape we become, how obese we become, how medically dependent on the system we become. And so in that movie, and the reason why I'm going there, in 1993, I talked to Charlie Harrison, Charlie Hurricane Harrison. They used to call him Hurricane because he was always on the go, like go, 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 right? Well, that man was productive. I love that guy. He was productive. He was always on the go. And I was in the bathroom, and it happened a couple times in a row, too many. And in that, when you go into a washroom and it smells like a regurgitated dead carcass, so that smell, right, that everybody emanates once in a while in their life. Well, I walked into the stall, the bathroom, and at two different times, different officers, different gentlemen would just leave the stall, like not go to the bathroom, not go wash your hands, not pass by the sink and get out. I remember watching this, I think one of those news footages one time. They had these hidden cameras in bathrooms, only at the sinks, at the staff that were the cooks and all that in this restaurant. And this is a big franchise at the time. This is like 20 years ago. And they only had the cameras at the sink. And you could see the edges of the door opening all the stalls. And these cooks weren't even going to the sink. They're going right out. They're just do what they need to do, and they go right out. They don't wash their hands. So therefore, that day was one time too many for me. And I saw these gentlemen leaving the stall. Hey, how are you? And they go right out. Well, those two gentlemen at that time, one of them had, when I left the stall, I did wash my hands. Now he was holding a phone. He goes, "The phone's for you." And another time it was keys. We have these big, massive prison keys, and here's the keys, right? So at two different times, and I remember that was one time too many. And I remember grabbing the phone like this, or the keys by the ring, right? I'm thinking, I just saw you come out of, you know what I mean? So no washing of the hands. I went to Charlie Hurricane Harrison. I said, "Sir," and sir, because I had a lot of respect for our management at the time, and it wasn't because of who they were as managers, because we respected management, we respected our officials, and I went to Charlie and I said to him, "Sir, could I have signs made in our bathrooms? And I just want, please wash hands, we handle keys." So he made these little gold, I still remember, gold plaques, nice edges on it. In our maintenance shop, they made some nice signs. We had some of the best maintenance guys out there, and they made some nice signs. The next day after he put those signs, this is 1993 here, he came up to me and he goes, "John Gee, you got me some hell of trouble right now." And he got a lot of shit. You got a lot of, how dare you tell me to wash my hands? Who the hell are you to tell me to wash my hands? So I took the brunt. I went to the officers that came down hard on him and said, I'm the one that asked him to watch the signs, to put the signs up, and here's why. I explained my rationale behind the signs, and their eyes lit up, because you can't argue the facts. I always say that to people, you cannot argue the facts. And I gave them the details, and a lot of them still fought me. And there's individuals that we say will debate a bird and how to fly. Well, some of them still, and a lot of them were like, yeah, I'm glad you got those signs put up there. So this is 1993, right? 1993, I got in shit for pardon my language again. I got in trouble for putting up signs, for having signs made, for requesting to have signs made to put in the bathroom to wash your hands. So let's flash forward to 2020, where we live in a world where 80% of the world population data is not affected, and the entire world is now on whatever, COVID-19, new policies, procedures, agenda for the 20%. So the 80% has to live for remember, the minority always rules the majority. Always remember that. Whether it's wars, whether it's those sucking on the nipples, that big nipple up there, those sucking on the nipple of life, of society, of the system, either let's appease the 20%. The majority always gets led by the minority, by ideology, right? The people on top, the ones that know better than you, are telling you what to do all the time. I want to get into the health again. Let's go back to this thing. So those individuals that talk about the mask and all that. So this government video, I was watching this video last night, a fun fact video on how to wash your hands. And this provincial Ontario government video in our country, in Canada here, it's basically showing you the fun fact, you're a surgeon. You're literally going into surgery because the way you're washing you better scrub between your fingers, between all your joints. And so wash your hands like you're going into surgery. Wash your arms, like really wash them good. Then you grab your mask, you put it on, do not touch your mask. At no given time are you allowed to touch your mask, okay? Do not touch your mask. And there's two masks they talk about. One, the disposable mask that you're not allowed to touch at any given time, and then the ones that are made, the people-made masks, like my sister who makes these beautiful masks for people, washable masks with washable materials, etc. Well, those masks that they talk about, again, do not touch them. And once you remove them, you're supposed to wash them right away. The other one, dispose in the garbage cans. The other one, into the washing machine and wash them right away. That's what you're supposed to do. Surgeon wash, put on the mask. At no given time are you allowed to touch your mask, touch your face, touch your eyes, touch anything. And after you're done with the mask, you dispose it. Re-surgeon wash your hands, fingers, everything. Right? That's what they teach you to do. Where's the emphasis on health? Where's the emphasis? Like I said, I've lost over 100 pounds, but where's the emphasis on health and taking care of yourself? Remember that 80% that have no signs and symptoms? Well, this Dr. EricBerg explains why. If you want to watch that video, Dr. EricBerg, B-E-R-G, he talks about the 80%, why the 80% are not affected or have little to no symptoms, and why only that 20%. I'm going to talk about the health because for some reason, globally, we're spending hundreds of millions, it's going to be billions, and eventually it'll be trillions of dollars on how to wear a mask, wash your hands like a surgeon, everybody sanitize, nobody touch your face, nobody touch your eyes, nobody do nothing. But if we all got healthy, my goodness, could you imagine if we all got healthy? Because remember I talked about in March and April, look at my previous EFAs, Equality for All, when I said to you that it's going to come, the mandatory masks are going to come. Then I talked about the fines are going to come, revenue generation. Well, yesterday's newspaper, they're talking about Toronto, Canada, about the mandatory mask that's coming into all public transportation, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually the $175 or the $195 tickets for not wearing the mask in your public settings. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not predict the future. I just know how they think. That's all. So where is the educational funding or push or media blitz or government blitz or specialty group blitz or that 20% blitz on your health? When are we talking to people that can't have a face like I used to have, big, massive block on your shoulder? You can't be around like this no more. The underlying issues, a lot of it is tied to unhealthy eating, unhealthy lifestyle habits, right? And I've talked about this on previous EFAs. If you listen to that, like what I did in my life, cutting out the processed food, cutting out the sugars, basically cutting out everything unnatural in my body. The only thing that enters my lips and goes through my system is either made by God themselves, God, him or herself, the Mother Nature, Earth. If it didn't come from the Earth, I don't want it, right? So, and I talk about the exercise, and I don't even, people think I work out all the time. I don't, but I do cardio every day. Whether it's jumping rope or pushing up or working on a job site, etc. I do cardio every single day, and I only eat once a day. I OMAD 1 meal a day, 6 days a week, and I eat twice a day on weekends, and I'll throw in something in the daytime. But it's all natural, and I take care of myself naturally, hence why I've lost 100 pounds thus far, right? My natural supplements and so forth. But I'm very curious why the government themselves are not emphasizing on health. Why they're telling you to wash your hands like a surgeon, cover your face, get rid of it, don't touch it. And can you imagine now, all of you on buses, all of you in transportation, you can't touch that itch. Imagine that itch in your eyeballs, that itch in your nose, that itch in your head, that itch on your scalp, that itch in your ear, the allergy season, the cold season, the winter season, the summer season, the 100-degree day, sweating and etc. You're not allowed to touch your face. They're very clear. Do not touch your face. And if you touch your mask, dispose it, wash it, and start over. Are you listening to me? If you touch your mask, dispose it, wash it, and start over. Full surgery hand wash, new mask, do not touch your face, facial area at all. If you do, start over. After you remove your mask, full surgery wash again. When are you, governments around the world, going to really tackle the real issue instead of revenue generation for your ideology? Let's talk about health. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA 102.